1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Capital City Podcast. This is 4 years. This is our 4-year anniversary right here.
Ooh, 4 years, man. You sure?
4 years. 4 years. I'm your host, Capital J, alongside my main man,
DL Glass.
Now, this is going to be our 4th anniversary podcast, right?
God.
And I think the message here, more than anything, stick to it.
Whatever it is, right?
Whatever it is.
Right.
Now, if you do anything in entertainment to get famous, you're going to quit after a certain amount of time if the fame doesn't come the way that you thought it would in the timeline that you gave yourself to get where you were trying to go. On the flip side of that, if you love what you do and you're doing it because you love it, you'll do it anyway.
Right.
I know people that some people that say, hey, I want to be a singer. And then they go a few years and they don't get signed and they just quit. Then you see them 20 years later working at an insurance company and you say, hey, you still sing? Nah, I gave it up.
Right.
And then you have people who've been singing for 20 years. Weddings, karaoke, cruise ships, all kind of gigs.
Right.
Never got famous.
Right.
They love it.
I think a lot of that has to do with expectation.
Well, bottom line is we love this.
Yes.
We love these topics that we talk about. And we love doing this. So whether or not we ever get as popular as whoever's podcast, we're going to be here in year 5. We're going to be here in year 6.
Yes.
Because we love it.
Through it all.
We love it. We're doing what we like to do.
Yeah.
If you don't love it, don't even start doing it. Anything, especially in entertainment. So you have to think about what is your motivation to doing what you're doing. We've been doing this for 4 years.
Damn.
The motivation was not, you know what, man? I want to have 10,000 views on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get rich. Nope.
Right.
It's not the motivation. The motivation is for you to get this information. And as long as there's more information to give you, then we got a job to do, giving you something to think about. And that's why we continue to do this.
And you know what's crazy is if you go back and listen to season 1, episode 1, and episode 2, we didn't even have a name for it.
No name. I think one time I joked and said it's a no-name podcast.
Yeah.
You know, I've had people say, hey, why aren't you on YouTube? Well, it's a podcast. And by definition, a podcast has been something that you listen to. We're providing content for you to listen to. And I hope that we've been able to touch topics that you don't hear a whole bunch of other people talking about. If it's something that everybody's talking about, you're probably not going to hear us talk about it here because you have too many avenues to hear about Young Thug's trial and R. Kelly getting locked up and Cassie and Puff Daddy. Like, everybody's talking about that.
Right.
We're talking about the stuff that nobody's talking about.
Right.
You know, talking about crack money in hip hop and ways you can fall off.
Right.
How to achieve longevity, what you're going to do after you retire from music, all of this stuff. Like, these are things that any and everybody aren't just talking about. We're trying to give you something different, a different perspective. And is you would think that we would run out of things to talk about. But guess what? We won't.
We can't.
We won't. There's too much going on that people ignore, and it just leaves the door open. So we'll be here next year.
Right.
We'll be here the year after that.
It's 2024, man.
Right. We started this before the first person got sick with COVID.
Yes. We took a break during COVID.
Right.
And came right back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Damn.
So, you know, if you take anything from us, hey, do what you love to do, and it won't be work. You won't have trouble. It won't be hard for you to stay involved. But if you're doing anything just to get famous or just to get rich,
You'll
give up eventually. You will give up eventually.
Keep Keep doing it to be famous. Keep doing it to be rich.
And those people that would have given up probably wouldn't have made it anyway.
Right. I had somebody ask me, damn, man, how many episodes y'all got?
We got plenty, man. We got plenty of episodes. And we got more to come, too. Like, there are way more people to talk to. There's so much more information for you to get out there. Like, I mean, we have artists around here. Like, right here in the Triangle, there are artists all over the place. We got Lil Brother floating around here.
Yep.
I ran into Davey DMX living around here. Mike D from the Jungle Brothers is around here. Mm-hmm. Terminator X lives around here. Big Daddy Kane lives around here.
Right.
Like, there are a lot of people here in North Carolina just hanging out. Right. And there's some real cool stories that we still haven't gotten yet. And we're going to get them for you.
Absolutely.
You know? So, yeah, Busta Rhymes on everybody's podcast and all these other people. But how many people have talked to Entice? Right. And, you know, like when we talk to Fanatic, you going to sit here and tell me you didn't learn something?
Yes, I hope
like these are people that have been places, and these stories are important. Right. And we try to keep everything from a North Carolina perspective because I feel like outside of the New York City area, North Carolina is one of the most influential places on the hip-hop scene.
It's the belt, man.
You just don't know it.
You just don't know.
And we're turning you on. We're letting you know.
Right.
Things that you didn't know about, people you didn't know about.
We did the whole 50 years of hip-hop right here.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And people didn't even know how, what's the word I'm looking for, how much North Carolina contributed.
Right. We have a lot of contributors. Yeah. And there's plenty more to come. You know, we have a long way to go with this. Yeah. And we're not trying to get anything done for shock value. Like I don't have any hot take on anything. Like I can spit something controversial right now. Right. That may go viral.
But why?
But to do that would damage the credibility of the show. Yes. You know, that's not what we do. And we don't want to flip the script on y'all 4 years in and then just be all about clickbait. You know, that's not what we're about. You know, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I always thought of myself as somewhat of a professor. Yes. So every time we sit and think about a topic and present it, I'm thinking about what if I was teaching a class on hip-hop from this perspective. You know, what would I tell the students? What I want them to learn something, take something away from it. So that's the way we come at you every week. You know, I want you to be able to take something away from this and say, hey, man, I never really thought about it like that, but it's absolutely true.
Like when you flip the whole Tupac and Donald Trump comparison. That was crazy.
But yeah, it's there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely there. Yes. So everything we're saying is, you know, we thought about it before we came, but then we start talking, you know, we just including you in our conversation every week.
And I think it's important for them to understand that when he say we thought about it before we came, so I'm going to give you the blueprint real quick. Cal J will call me probably Monday or Tuesday. Hey, we recording Wednesday? Yeah, we're going to record. Well, you know, I was thinking about this. Maybe we should talk about this. And then Wednesday comes. We usually call each other around 7:30 and say, hey, we're going to meet around 8. We come to the office. We stand outside, have a few drinks or whatever, and have a conversation about what we thought we were going to talk about. Right. And it does a whole 180.
Into something else.
30 minutes before we come sit down and actually have these conversations. And then what you're getting is so real. It's not scripted in no way. Like we might sit here and take notes as the conversation is going on, but this is nothing that's scripted.
Yeah, and our stances sometimes change in the middle of a show. So, I don't. Neither one of us come in here stuck with an opinion
Right.
that can't be molded, shaped, or changed with some dialogue.
Right. That's it.
And you hearing the dialogue happen every week.
Yes.
So I don't come in here with my mind made up that this is how it is.
Right.
We come in here and we're hashing things out.
Absolutely.
I believe that nothing's ever truly black and white.
Right.
So, I hope that as you join in from week to week, you can hear our views evolve sometimes from the beginning of the show to the end of the show.
And not everybody can do that.
No. Because it takes a certain amount of humility to be able to evolve your point.
Right.
And say you come in feeling this way and then admit that, maybe I was too harsh on a certain group or
right.
too harsh on a certain sector in the hip hop community. Mm-hmm. And I need to change my stance.
Right.
So that's one of the things I hope you take away from what we do too, is that there is, we're absolutely not stuck in any type of mind state or opinion. And sometimes I wish that we had live phone-ins, so that we could talk and hear from other people too. Because, DL and I don't agree on everything.
Right.
But we also know that you don't agree on everything that we say either. And I would love to have that input, Right. Like I don't mind having a dialogue. I'm easygoing. I don't believe in beefing and doing all that stuff. Hey, if you feel differently, let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
So sometimes we try to think about the people that aren't here and inject what we think they would say, even if it's not what we feel.
Right. Right.
Just for your sake, because I know you're sitting at home sometimes like, doggone it, that's not right. I don't feel like that.
Right.
So, we're just trying to give you a glance into the process here. But 4 years, I want to thank any and everybody that's ever spent any amount of time listening to what we're talking about. Because, for one, that means that you enjoy hip-hop music and you like thinking about the same things that we like thinking about and talking about. So after 4 years, I want to say thank you to everybody that's been involved and kept this thing going. Because when I say that we would still be doing it even if nobody listened, that's not true. If nobody listened, we would have to find something else to do. So somebody out there is listening. And we appreciate you and you and you. All three of y'all.
Three of y'all. and we doing numbers. Just so we clear. We doing numbers.
Yeah, it's getting better.
Yeah.
So we appreciate everybody that's helped us get this far. We appreciate all the feedback that we've gotten. We definitely appreciate all the guests that have come in and given us this time. We don't pay anybody to come in here and talk to us.
Right.
Like I know you have some artists out there that charge $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to stop through people's podcasts. We don't do that. Everybody that came through here and talked to us, or everybody that's phoned in, these people volunteered their time and their knowledge, and they shared it with us. So we want to thank all those people too. They didn't have to do that.
Right.
And
we have had a few, quite a few.
Yeah. These are people that have other things to do. It's not, people not sitting around with nothing to do. Some of these folks are busy.
Right.
So, I want to thank all of them too. I thank everybody that spent any time talking to us, because we've learned so much from these people too. Like I came in this with 30 years in the game, and every time I talk to somebody, I learned something. And I'm not talking about just talking to people that may have won a Grammy or somebody that was there at the inception of hip hop. I'm talking about everybody we talk to. Like, we've talked to independent artists that been on the grind for 10, 15 years now, and we've learned something from all of them too. And they've been in positions that you don't even know how to get there. And they shared this information with you. They told you how, like we talked to Van X about how you get a feature.
Right.
We talked to Brandon D about how do you go to another city and sell your music when you without the support of a record label. And these are people who have done this and been able to make a living doing things that they love. And who's telling you how to get this stuff done? Nobody. So when somebody comes and gives their time freely and shares this information, this is what people pay for this stuff. You know,
absolutely.
You know, so you sometimes when we have guests, you're getting a master class on how to get where they got for free.
All it takes is time.
Yeah, just sit back and listen. So we're gonna continue to do everything we've been doing. 1, because we love it. 2, because we got a few people out there that are paying attention.
Right.
3, because of the contributions of all these artists that have done so much from North Carolina and nationally, and they've been so willing to share this information with us. So we're sharing it with you. And I know I wouldn't be where I am had it not been for those people that were willing to share information with me.
Right.
And the most guarded secrets, anytime you try to get into anything, I've been like, I coach basketball on the side. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, I've been around a lot of people that coach for years and years and years. They play college basketball, they do all this stuff. They don't give you anything.
Right. Because it's so guarded.
Nothing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They won't tell you nothing.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I've been coaching basketball for years. Mm-hmm. And I haven't had anybody sit down and tell me the things that I need to know about basketball, the way that these cats have sat down and explained how they got on in music and how they took the steps that they took to get where they needed to go in the industry.
Right.
Nobody sat down and explained this stuff to me about basketball. Mm-hmm. I'm still out here on my own learning.
Right.
You know, and I've assisted coached under people. And the information is scarce and it's under lock and key, and they keep it amongst themselves.
Right.
So when I tell you it's a blessing for anybody to share what they know with you, it really is. So I hope that when you listen, you understand that just getting this information is a blessing. And we've been blessed, and we're spreading the love and sharing the blessings with you.
Absolutely. And then, like you said, we get enjoyment out of this.
Right.
I've learned so much from this podcast. Like, I thought I was a hip-hop or rap connoisseur, but I ain't know nothing until I started this podcast.
Right. Constantly learning.
Yes.
Like, when if we go back to some of the early shows, like sometimes, it's almost embarrassing sometimes, like, oh man, if we could go back and redo that. Yeah. But you know what? It's out there. Right. Because we put ourselves out there. You know, we're not always right about everything. Yeah. Yeah. But you're hearing our evolution. We're still learning. After all this time in the game, there's still so much to learn. And we're only halfway through this thing, or less than halfway. Right. You don't know how long this roller coaster is gonna go.
Right. Hell yeah. This it has been a journey from season 1 to season 10, season 11. You know. And
we went to the movies with you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an educational episode for me. Learning about the different hip hop movies and starting out how this thing started out and how it evolutionized. I don't know which word is right, but how it grew into what it is now.
Right.
And it's going to continue to grow. Nas said that hip hop is dead, and I think Nas, when he made the statement hip hop is dead, he got quiet because he wanted to evoke thought into people about what that actually means and where hip hop was coming from, where it was then, and where he saw it going.
Well, if you think about what it started as, like, that is dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, hip hop as it started is dead.
Right. Right.
You know, it started the way the art form started.
Mm-hmm.
2 turntables.
Right.
DJ, records.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Crew putting a show together to enhance what's going on in the club. That's over.
Right.
So that type of hip hop is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe we're in a rap era now.
Absolutely.
Which is also why it's so important to have this information that you're getting.
Right.
Because if it's not recorded, then, 100 years from now, that era will be lost.
Mm-hmm.
And the people telling, like, when historians go back and tell the story, they always start with what's recorded. And what's recorded is that the first rap song, this is the narrative that's going to be told later, is the first rap song was Sugar Hill Gang.
Right.
Yeah, hip hop, hip. Right. Man, that song came out 7 years into this trip.
Right. Right.
6 years later, 7 years later.
And that's old history.
And that means there's 7 years
right
that people hadn't even, there's stories on YouTube that you can go back and listen to.
Mm-hmm.
But then you fast forward again, and when people say, well, what are hit records? Like, if the first one came out in 1980 and it's Sugar Hill, then where do you go when you're looking through history and you want to say, well, what were the popular hip hop songs? You're gonna skip straight to MC Hammer and Run DMC, and you're gonna miss Houdini and the Fat Boys, because there's no place like that music didn't chart on the radio. So a program director's gonna go back and look and say, well, what hip hop songs? Where does hip hop begin?
Right.
They're gonna start. It's gonna jump straight from Sugar Hill Gang to Run DMC. Walk This Way.
Shit, it might skip all the way to Lil Wayne.
You never know, but
For real.
That's
or Drake.
But that's where hip hop started showing up on the radio a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the hip hop genre, to have like a whole radio station just play hip hop all day,
right.
Like that started across the country really in the mid 90s. You had your random stations here and there, but it's the mid 90s. You're talking about a full 20 years.
Right.
20 years of hip hop going on before radio stations realized it as a format.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to do what we do.
Right. Right. And
all this will be lost.
And when you say recorded, recorded could be written down or actual voice or audio recordings.
Yeah, because when you start having your first hip hop stations, you can look at what charted on those stations, and that information is preserved.
Yes.
But what we were playing in the club is not preserved.
Right.
And the only way you'll get it is for people like me and DL and other DJs and other artists to talk about it.
Right.
And if we don't talk about it, then it won't be recorded. I'm recording it right now.
Right.
I'm telling you. You see what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Like, we talk about dudes beatboxing and all this stuff. Like, there was no beatbox song that charted.
Right.
That any program director is going to be able to look up
mm-hmm.
and say, I need to, they're gonna go back and look at the hits that charted, and that's what they're gonna program.
Right.
So the Fat Boys and Dougie Fresh and the Skinny Boys and all these cats that had Just Ice and DMX, all the cats that had beatbox, Biz Markie with their beatbox records, all that's gonna be lost forever one day, unless people talk about it and record it. So we're recording all this now.
Right.
So it doesn't get lost.
Right.
You think anybody's going to give Entice her props one day when they start talking? Whenever you hear about top female artists, do you hear about Entice? No.
Nope.
But guess what? If you go back and listen to these shows, it's recorded.
Yep.
And she's going to sit there and tell you when the Wu-Tang Clan was just coming out and they didn't have any features, Method Man was featured on Entice's song, doggone it.
Yep.
And Wu-Tang's history is going to be told.
Right.
But now you see the connection.
And
right
Wu-Tang,
here.
they told the Wu-Tang story and they didn't mention Entice in that Method Man feature.
Well, I don't think that would, that's not big to the Wu-Tang story. That's big to the North Carolina hip-hop story.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're trying to record things that are in danger of being lost forever.
Right.
Because I saw what happened to rock and roll. Mm-hmm. And I see hip hop is rock and roll all over again.
Right.
There's so many artists that help invent that thing and help turn it into a household name. But once it finally hit the radio, they were lost forever.
Yeah. Damn, that's deep.
So yeah, we're trying to archive things for y'all.
Yes.
So this is all, this is a big old thank you to everybody that's paying attention. We appreciate you.
4 years, man.
4 years. 4 years in. You know what?
And it was only a fraction. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. I'm getting ready to, I think I'm going to take a shot to that.
All right.
I don't know what kind of shot I want to take.
Pass that thing on.
4 years in. 4 years in, we're going to take a shot to Tequila.
Yes, sir.
This is dedicated to the Capital City Podcast and you.
Hell yeah.
Our listeners. We would not be here without you. No, I take that back. Even if you weren't here, we would be here.
Yeah, we'll still be here.
But
we're doing numbers, man.
We appreciate it. Let's toast.
You heard me.
Here's a toast to the Capital City Podcast. 4 years in, the next 4 years is going to be even better.
Absolutely.
Woo. That's strong.
Yeah.
Well, this is the Capital City Podcast. I'm your host, Capital J, alongside my main man,
DL Glass.
Thanks for being with us for 4 years.